Oh man, do I got a story for you guys. You won't believe what just happened. I almost got in a fist fight with another bar none driver. and this is uh, this is not something I could put into a YouTube short, so this is just gonna be my next vlog episode. I gotta tell you about what just happened. Now look, I'm gonna give you a little disclaimer. I may be a fat guy, but you could call the Nine Realms MMA gym in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Talk to Coach Josh, and he'll confirm that I received training in Muay Thai boxing, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and wrestling at Nine Realms MMA. And I've dabbled a little bit in MMA training years before that as well. So I know how to defend myself. And I also know how to de escalate situations from turning violent. So I'm going to tell you about this fight I almost got into and how I handled it. Uh, I was at a shipper. I was there to drop off an empty trailer that I brought and pick up a loaded trailer. It's called a drop and hook. And but this is one of those distribution centers that it's really tight spaces and way the hell too much traffic, and truckers getting angry at each other for being each other's way, even though it's not something we can help. And it's a mess. It's more of a dance than it is a drop and hook. And it's kind of crazy at this place. And every time I go to this DC, there's some drama. But this time it was out of proportion. I went in and I checked in with the guard at the guard shack, and there was so much traffic that he told me to do a U-turn inside the area, and there's barely enough room for the U-turn, and to just drop the trailer off in the middle of the parking lot, because they're going to have, I don't know why. I was thinking maybe the yard dog's going to move it somewhere. Maybe it's just safer to have the yard dogs park these things or something because of how thick the traffic was in there. But I was like, okay, whatever. And right when I got into position to drop it, then another guard at the guard shack came up to me and says, hey, look, man, just do me a favor and just drive to the other side of the DC, find a parking spot there, and drop the trailer there, and then come back to get your loaded. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do that. And the next step is that I'm supposed to drop the trailer off, go into the shipping office to get my bill of lading, and then I get wherever the loaded trailer's at. All right, not a big deal. As soon as I finish doing a 45-degree driver's side vacuum maneuver to get the trailer into the parking spot, I had to get on this device right here. It's called an OmniTrack, and I had to make a delay at shipper report, because I knew that this is probably going to cause my load to be late because of all the crazy traffic. And I was just trying to do a simple message saying, hey, the traffic's crazy here, tight spaces, I have to slow down so I could do everything safely. This is just delay a shipper, and it's just to cover my ass. And that's what you're supposed to do. I was like 30 seconds away from done typing it all out. And and keep in mind, I type out 100 words a minute. I got a keyboard that I plug in there so I can type faster. And anyway, just as I was like 30 seconds away from completing this message and hitting send, another bar none driver in a bobtail, number 4008. Yeah, I'm calling you out, motherfucker. And he came up to me to my driver's side door as my window was rolled down, and he started demanding that I unhook from that trailer because he needs that trailer. I'm like, all right, man. So look, man, just give me 30 seconds. I got to send this message to dispatch because I'm delayed. Let me do that. I'll unhook. He's like, no, you need to unhook now, blah, blah, blah. And then he started chewing me out and telling me that trailer is for him, that he needs that for a load. And then he was chewing me out because he said that I was supposed to drop it at the front of the DC, but I brought it here, and so he had to chase me back here. And he's like, why the hell did you do that? And I said, dude, the guard shack told me to do that. One dude told me to leave it up there, and another one told me to come back. And then he goes on the rant again, and I was like, dude, I was just doing what I was told. What the hell's your problem? And then he started trying to intimidate me, and he started to threaten me. And I said, look, man, just give me 30 seconds so I can finish this message, unhook from the trailer, I'll be out of your way. And he's like, no, you do it right now. And I says, no, because at this point, it'd be like, no, I'm not going to let this guy push me around. Then he like he had something in his hand and he just threw it to the ground. I don't know, maybe it was a phone or keys or whatever. And he put his fist up and he threatened to attack me. He threatened to fight me, and he's like, "I'm gonna do what I'm gonna have to do." Blah blah blah. And I was sitting there. I'm like, "Oh, this dude just threatened me with a good time." But it's like, but then my adult brain kicked in, and I'm like, no. If I whoop this guy's ass, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna lose my job, and so I got to be very strategic on how I stand up for myself. Otherwise, I will get punished for standing up for myself. So let me tell you what I did. I have this little pocket right here where I keep stuff in, tools. I pulled out this hammer. I put it right here, just like that, just to show him that I have a hammer in my hand. And then I looked down and says, "You do not intimidate me." And then he's like, "Let's go, let's fight, blah, blah, blah." But then he started looking at me, looking at this hammer in my hand, looking back at me, and then I could see fear in his eyes. And he started, and as soon as I noticed that he just went from tough guy to scared little bitch in 0.5 seconds. That's when I decided to negotiate peace from a position of strength. And I said, "Look, I'll give you my word. I will not be violent unless it's out of self-defense." And then he said some shit, and then he just walked back in his truck. Problem solved. But that's another delay, because I know that I have to report this to dispatch to make sure my ass is covered. And so what I did is I finished the message. I unhooked the trailer, got out of his way. I parked at a parking spot where I could park my bobtail out. And then I sent a long-ass message to dispatch to let them know what happened. I told them everything what I just said here. And then I called dispatch and then talked to night shift dispatch over the phone, because, you know, if you work for Bar None, you're going to be driving at night. And so I told him the whole story. And then, but yeah, and then, then I finally went into the shipper office and to get my paperwork so I could get load, you know, and move on about my business. But at this point, I was hyped up, man, because I was like, man, I escaped going to jail, you know. But man, I went in there and I just started having some small talk with the lady at the desk, and it turned out the load wasn't ready anyway, and it literally became ready like on her screen. I saw it on her screen become ready the moment I told her what my pickup number was, or my reference number, whatever. And then we had some small talk, and then I just told her what happened, because I still had adrenaline going through my body and everything. And turns out this dude didn't need my specific trailer. They don't tell people to pick up specific empty trailers. And they showed me on the computer screen, said, "Look, we got like over a dozen empty trailers for Bar None here. He could have picked any one of them." And I looked down, I was like, "Well, then why was he, have such a hard on for my trailer?" And they said, "We have no idea. That's not how it works here." And so this dude didn't even need my trailer. He was about to fight me and get his head caved in. Not by the hammer, because I would have used my elbows for that. Because when you're Muay Thai boxing, you don't punch someone in the head with your fists. Without gloves, you use your elbows, because elbows are like fucking razor blades. But I couldn't just tell this guy that I have MMA training, because there's no way he'd believe me, because I'm a fat ass. So I had to use the hammer to show him that I could defend myself. But I wasn't planning on using a hammer. And but yeah, it turns out this dude basically harassed me and threatening me, and probably got himself fired because of me reporting him and reporting his truck number and taking a picture of the damn truck that he was in, over a trailer that he didn't even really need. I mean, talk about next level dumbass. So this kind of shit is why I'm leaving the United States, because there's violence everywhere in this country. I literally can't mind my own business, do my job at a DC without someone trying to pick a fight with me. I mean, you buy the wrong car in this country and people burn that car to the ground, all because they don't like the politics of the dude who founded that car's company. That's how bad it is now. So yeah, this is just, it pisses me off, but I finally calmed down now to now I'm just sort of laughing at it. And but God, I tell you what, I didn't need to drink much caffeine on the way to 300 something miles delivery. I had adrenaline keep me awake. But yeah, look, so let this be sort of a YouTube tutorial. Even if you got hand-to-hand combat training, if you ever are in a situation like this, always try to de-escalate. I mean, you never know just how close something can get to being violent, and you can actually de-escalate it quickly. Just don't be an ass, negotiate from a position of strength, but yeah, this sucks. And I ended up talking to dispatch on day shift right before I started my 10-hour reset. And from what I hear from him, he said he already read it. He says I'm good, and he said I did a good job documenting the whole thing, and he said I did everything I was supposed to do. So I don't think I have to worry about being in trouble for standing up for myself. But I kind of anticipate it, because throughout my whole life, every time someone tries to bully me around, I stand up for myself. I end up having some drama with whatever authority figure there is. That's just how American culture is. American culture wants you to be a victim, not a survivor, and I say fuck that. I'm 39 years old. I survived a lot of shit, and I'll defend myself if I have to, but I will do yet. But if I can avoid a fight, I will, because there's only 2 times it's appropriate to fight outside of a cage, and that's self-defense or defending someone you care about. But even then, it's a matter of last resort, not first resort. And that's just a lesson that I've observed just from my dad growing up, because he was institutionalized. Every time he'd get out of jail, he'd get a job somewhere, and then he'd get in a fight, lose his job, go back to jail. And I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. So yeah. So I'm just happy that I finished the load, and I'm gonna be paid for it, and nothing unsafe happened. And if that wasn't bad enough, I had a storm chasing me on the way from I picked up this load in Illinois, and I dropped it off in Ohio. And there's this app that I use to track radar telemetry real time, and there was this big ass winter storm that was behind me, and I just hauled ass, and I was able to outrun the storm. So it'll probably hit where I'm parked at right now in my sleep, but I was able to avoid the storm. I probably won't be lucky when I wake up and have to do another load. But yeah, well, that's it. And that was my crazy shift today, and just another crazy trucker moment.